Well, the last 6 years I have been working as professor for political geography, especially conflict research and critical geopolitics at the University of Tübingen in South Germany. And now I dedicate myself to peace activism, but this didn't came by chance. I had been the head of the International Society for Human Rights in Germany before, but after an interview where I criticized the role of NATO and the EU in the Ukraine conflict, and where I mentioned also that the United States has spent $5 billion to topple the legitimate government of Ukraine and has torn the country apart, then politicians intervened and at the board of the International Society of Human Rights, and I was kicked out of that position. And so I saw, okay, this topic is so critical, I have to dedicate myself more specifically to it. And I think it's time now for us to stand up as citizens, as experts, as scientists, as activists, to fight for peace and against war, because if war breaks out, and you never know when this can happen through false flag attacks or any other lies, as usually wars are started, then we all will be surprised, but then it will be too late. So act now. And so we said, let's go to Russia and take our own cars and drive there over 2,000 miles one way and 2,000 miles back, which is for Germans awful lot. And we wanted to just tell them and let them know that we love Russia, that as this heart shows, our symbol, that we want to live in peace and harmony with them, that we want to get familiar with them, with their way of living, their culture, and embrace them as our brothers and sisters in Europe. And now we have come here, and we were really surprised by Russian hospitality, how they welcomed us and how warm-heartedly they have embraced also our idea. And they really said it's like balm on our souls. It feels so good that you come here in these hard times and tell us that we want to live together with you, not only in peace, because if peace is only the absence of war, it's not really the positive peace that we are looking for. We are looking for friendship between people, and we want to just set a symbol for peace and friendship with Russia with our tour. And we hope that millions of Russians really understand this, and the mainstream media in Russia really covers our event, our initiative very well, and welcomes our initiative. But in the West we still have big difficulties. We face real problems, challenges to enter the mainstream media realm. If they report about us, then always from a very, very critical and even manipulative perspective. They say that we adore Putin and stuff like that, and pushing us aside and not taking really serious our initiative. Many Germans felt more and more uncomfortable with the anti-Russian propaganda that we are confronted with in media and politics, and we felt that it's really unjust to blame the Russians for anything that is going on in the world, which is wrong. For example, the Syria crisis, when we have refugee streams coming to Europe, then they blame it all on the Russians, not mentioning with one word that it was NATO wars and aggressions that have destroyed Libya, and Islamic terrorists that have been backed by United States and their allies in Europe, which have destroyed Syria. And when Russia intervenes, then it's their fault that the refugees come to Europe. So it's very unjust. You can see it in every field, also when it comes to Olympics, to the European football championship, Eurovision contest. Everywhere the Russians are being pushed aside and humiliated, and they are given the feeling that they don't belong to the global family of nations. And this just hurts any person who has a sense of justice in his heart. And if you have a problem between nations, between countries, first you should start talking to each other, and only as a last resort you should then think of armament, of stationing troops. But it seems that we only think of armament first now, of stationing troops in Baltic countries. And this is so sad to see that this happens under the guidance also of Germany, because the German army has invaded Russia 75 years ago. And now, after 75 years, the government doesn't come here and say, please forgive us for the 27 million victims that we have caused here in World War II in Russia. They come here and station again their troops at the border. So this is totally nuts. And also in international politics and diplomacy, it is a strategy that is doomed to fail. Well, the most emotional events were when we visited the monuments of World War II, where the Russian people still honor their victims, because every family has had losses through World War II. And it's not like in Germany, where we have forgotten our victims of the world wars. We feel ashamed of our past, and that's why we do not really cherish the victims, neither the civil victims nor the soldiers. But here in Russia, for example, before there is a marriage, a wedding, they go to the monument and put some flowers down for their ancestors who have died in World War II. And you cannot imagine something like that in Germany. So it's really alive, the remembering of the victims of World War II. Everyone understood our initiative, our goals, our aims. And this was really, really, for us, really important to see that it was like a puzzle that where the different parts match and come together. So we really feel happy and encouraged to go on now in St. Petersburg, a big city with 6 million inhabitants, and later to the biggest city of Europe, Moscow, with 12 million people. In the western part of Europe, we do not even know that it's the biggest city of Europe. The people always seek peace. If people agree with war as a strategy to settle any international disputes, then you can be sure there has been going on successful manipulation of people through media, through politics before.